By winter of 1937 to 1938, the Japanese Imperial Army had been rolling over China. China's best troops had been expended in the costly Battle of Shanghai, a decisive victory for Japan. Japan now knocked on the doors of Nanjing, the capital of nationalist China, from 1927 onwards. The troops that did survive Shanghai were exhausted from retreating hundreds and hundreds of miles, and morale was at rock bottom. Defending Nanking would be strategically impossible. It could easily be surrounded and cut off, preventing retreat. Chinese officers now had to make the decision as to whether or not they would withdraw from Nanking. While Chiang Kai-shek admitted that the defense of Nanking would be strategically impossible, and the German advisors also recommended to withdraw from Nanking, it wasn't so simple politically. The Chinese army's morale was at rock bottom. If Nanking, the capital of China, and home to many important monuments, was lost without a fight, it could threaten the structural integrity of the army and initiate mutinies. So, Chiang Kai-shek overruled every other officer and decided that Nanjing would have to hold. Nanking started on December 6, 1937. There were roughly 110,000 troops in Nanking at the time of the battle. The defenses within the city were an intricate ring of trenches and moats. There were stone walls on the perimeter of the city built hundreds of years ago, a formidable defense by the Ming Dynasty, 9 meters thick and 20 high, which had been studded by machine guns. By December 6th, the start of the battle, all gates in and out of the city had been closed. While the war seems to be going easily for Japan, and militarily it is, the Imperial Army is plagued by communication and discipline issues. While it seems that by their bravery shown in the end of the war, the Japanese troops would listen to orders very well, Tokyo has been having a difficult time controlling their armies in China. This became very clearly evident with the assault on Nanking. Soldiers on the ground were meant to wait for naval support, but instead, being hungry for glory, they charged in anyway. Also, generals were dismissing orders from Tokyo as to how to go about attacking Nanking. The Japanese auxiliary units started advancing along the Yangtze River behind Nanking, and the main Japanese troops began to encircle Nanking, soldiers and civilians alike. The Japanese had learned from allowing the escape at Shanghai and were ready to destroy the Chinese troops in Nanjing. By the 7th of December, some Japanese troops had scaled the defensive walls and prepared for an attack on the city. On the 9th of December, Commander Iwane Matsui advised that General Tang surrender the capital. He received no reply by noon on the 10th of December, so at 1 p.m. ordered for the assault to be continued. Some troops had reached the gate of Nanking by the early hours of the 9th and had continued the assault. Days of heavy Chinese resistance followed. Over the following days, assaults on other gates ensued. Eventually, after much resistance and shelling over the course of 3 days, Nanking began to cave. Japanese troops plugged escape routes. The Chinese commander only ordered a retreat at 5 p.m. on the 12th, and as occupying Japanese troops began pouring into Nanking, and the Chinese chaotically out, one of the darkest times in history started to befall the city of Nanking, the Nanking Massacre.